What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have Opeth. Yes, indeed. How about that? Opeth making their debut on the channel. This is a request from Anton Gallagher Norden. Anton Gallagher Norden wanted to see me react to this song by Opeth called Ghost of Perdition. Now, have I heard the song before? No. To the best of my knowledge, I have never heard the song before. This does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Opeth, okay? And the video has 1 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Opeth, Ghost of Perdition, live at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Cool. Whoa! 10:44. Oh boy. Okay, well, you guys know how I feel about long videos and long songs. If it's entertaining and I'm loving it, it's got nothing to worry about. If I'm not entertained, I get bored, I'm gonna hammer it. So, just be aware. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Devil cracked the jersey shelf, I told you was the one. You walked down to the room and said you had to live before you die young.
Okay, so this breakdown, they're going into 6/8, which is really nice. The subdivisions kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, are they in 5? Did they go to 5/8? But no, that's just a subdivision switch. No, they're still in 6. I'm digging the feel. I'm digging the vibe of the song. The instrumentation's cool. It's a very much like a solo work instrumentation. You got 2 guitars, bass, keyboard, and drums. Lead vocalist is one of the guitar players, so it's a 5-man instead of a 6-man. So far, so good. I've heard of Opeth. I've heard of them. I'm aware of their existence. I've never heard anything by them, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I don't know what I was expecting. I knew it was going to be heavy, but I didn't know it was going to be this heavy. So it's kind of nice. So it's so far so good. So far so good. Good sized crowd. I saw the crowd shot. I was like, that's a good sized crowd for an amphitheater. Let's keep going here.
Just one, open to the room. I said you have to live before you die.
I like the direction shift. Bringing it down to this more like a mezzo piano type of a feel. Really nice. Very well strategized too. They didn't let the song go on for too long. Now, what I'm hoping is one of two things happen. Because we've been in this kind of mezzo piano feel for a while now. So I'm hoping one of two things happen. One, guitar solo. That would be, I think, probably the best way to go. Two, come out of it and back into that main riff. Personally, I'm hoping for a guitar solo. I think that would make the most sense. So we'll see what happens here. Just what I thought they would. Okay, so what they did there was really cool. It's one of my favorite things what bands do. they played the 3 against the 4. So they were in 6-8. I believe they were in 6-8, but the way that they were subdivided made it feel like they went into 4-4. Or they actually did switch to 4-4, but they kept that 3 feel in the back. So either way, it doesn't matter. It works out really well. And I love it when bands do that, because you could take that whole section they did there and you could count it as 6-8, or you could count it as 4-4. It's really up to you how you interpret it, whether you follow the drummer or whether you follow the rhythmic pattern that's being played by the guitar. Now, in certain places, the guitar followed the drummer, but then went back to a 6-8. So you could go either way. I love it when bands do that. I really do. I dig it when bands are able to pull that off well, and they definitely pulled it off well. So kudos to them. Let's keep going here. Back in the world of a mellow feel again. They're playing with time out there. They actually did switch to 4-4, straight 4 right there. That was nice. That was a nice little switch up. I mean, these guys clearly know how to write songs. I mean, clearly they're very well versed in theory. They're not slouches. I mean, they're not just copying and pasting what other bands have done. They're coming up with their own ideas, which is really good. And what they have come up with sounds nice. I cannot get over enough how much I love that 3 against the 4. I've always dug it, but then they actually do switch to a straight 4, which was unexpected. I thought they were just going to continue to play the 3 against the 4, which I would have been totally cool with, but they actually did switch to 4. Very well defined 4, so I dug that. That was really good. The drummer is doing some really nice fill work. I love drummers who do good fills and use good tom work. Don't get me wrong, cymbals are nice. I dig cymbals, but I really can appreciate good tom work, and he has some really nice tom fills there. Let's keep going here. I like how they're ending each phrase with that measure of unison, where both guitars, bass are all playing the exact same line. I like that. There's consistency, because they're doing it like every fourth measure to end the phrase. You know, there's that. But they're also doing it very clean, and it's breaking up the monotony of a song. You know, whenever you are able to add those little elements in, it's not the same riff over and over and over and over and over again. It's different, and I appreciate that. I can absolutely appreciate that. It really does help break up the monotony of a song, especially when you have a song that's 10 minutes long. You're going to want to break up all the monotony you can. So, smart move on their part. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. I have some thoughts, and let me gather my thoughts, put them all together, and try to organize them as best I can, and I will see you in the review. Well, there you go, folks. That was Opeth with Ghost of Perdition. This was a request from Anton Gallagher Norden. All right, I have a score here, and I think it's an appropriate score for the song. I do feel this is what the song deserves. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.2. Yep, 8.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, I enjoyed everything I heard. Everything they played sounded really nice. I'm gonna start where I normally start, with the drummer. The drumming was one of the highlights for me personally. I'm not a drummer, I'm a bassist, but I can always appreciate good drumming. We are the rhythm section, you know, it's the bass and drums. It's up to us to keep the song on lock, and it's up to us to set the tone and the feel of the song and to keep the tempo solid. So I can always appreciate good drumming, and I heard some outstanding drumming here. I really did. Some fantastic fill work. Love toms. I've always said that. I am a much bigger fan of toms than I am of, say, cymbals. You know what I mean? So I would always appreciate good tom work. Now, the cymbal work that he did do, it was fine. It was outstanding. It was exactly where it needed to be. But man, there were some tom runs in there that just really kind of, got a rise out of me. The bass on this, I could actually hear the bass pretty well. I was somewhat surprised, because when you're playing outdoors, bass gets sucked up, man. It really does. Now, obviously, they're getting their audio feed from the board, obviously, because, you know, it looks to me like this was an official video. This was pro shot. So they're probably more than likely getting their audio from the board. I would say like 99% sure of that. So obviously the bass is going to come through, but I'm a little surprised I could hear it as clear as I did in the mix, which was nice. It shows me that the band respects bass and they know that bass needs to be heard. Unlike some other bands that we won't mention, we're not going to get into that. The guitar playing on this, really nice. I mean, I heard some fantastic runs, some fantastic solo work, some great melodic lines, but more importantly than anything, the tone on the guitars I think was the best part for me. Nothing overly driven. The distortion wasn't so heavy and thick that it made the guitar sound like mud. There was a good amount of bite, there was a good amount of presence, there was a good amount of drive to it, but it wasn't so overly driven that you couldn't differentiate between notes. And I've heard some bands who really overdo the distortion. It just turns to mush. It's horrible. That was not the case here. The keyboardist. Now, normally I'm not all that big on keyboard players. I'm going to be honest. I kind of feel like keyboard players sometimes are, how should I say this, unnecessary. But in this case, the keyboard was welcome. I mean, it really was. It was nice. Like, it very much gave me that soil work feel of, you know, the two guitars, especially when you have two guitars. When you have two guitars, I kind of look at keyboard like, well, you better be doing something to add to this, because if all you're going to do is mimic what the guitar players are doing, you're useless. Well, he didn't do that. He had his own parts. He had his own lines. He had his own counter melodies that he would play in unison with the guitar players on occasion. And that was a nice touch. And there were times where the guitar players would lay out and the keyboard would take over and fill up the sound. Very nicely done. Great strategy on the songwriting part to incorporate that and make that a part of the song. So, fantastic job. Vocally, the vocalist was very impressive, I gotta say. I dug what he was doing. I'll be honest with you, I got scared when the song started and it was, you know, that grit gravel voice. I was like, okay, please tell me we're not in for 10 minutes of this, because I don't know if I can handle it. Luckily, my prayers were answered, and the guy could show that he could actually sing melodically on top of it. So there's the balance. You have the grit and the growl and the gravel, and you have melodic singing, and he was switching between the two at will. That shows, number one, talent and ability. Number two, discipline. Knowing when to go grit, growl, and gravel, and knowing when to go clean melodic vocal. It's nice to see that. It really is, because I cannot tell you, I have seen many bands who have a vocalist who's able to do both, but he very rarely uses the melodic singing. It's like 90% grit and gravel. It's like, well, I mean, you got a nice voice, dude. You got a nice melodic voice. Why don't you use it more? One of the first bands that comes to mind when I'm talking about, you know, overdoing it on the grit and growl and not using enough melodic singing, first band that comes to mind, honestly, for me is Soilwork. The first two albums, Steel Bath Suicide and The Chainheart Machine, there was like no melodic singing in either one of those. I mean, there was very little, if any. I don't really remember if there was any at all. And then as the band progressed, you heard a little more melodic. Like when they did A Predator's Portrait, it was, you started to hear a little bit, and it was like, okay, it's a little more pronounced, a little more profound. Then they did Natural Born Chaos, and they did Figure Number 5, and it was like, okay, now we're hearing more melodics, which is really nice. My two favorite albums from Soilwork, The Living Infinite and The Ride Majestic, both of those albums, it's about 50-50 split, you know, between grit, growl, and gravel and melodic singing. It's about even, and I love both of those albums. They are both phenomenal albums. And I can equate that to this. The grit and growl and the melodic singing was about a 50-50 split. So congratulations to the lead singer. He sounded fantastic. From the songwriting standpoint, I love how they were able to play the 3 against the 4 so well. To the point that when they actually did switch from 6/8 to 4/4, I had to sit there and I had to question it. Like, wait a minute, is that 4? Or is that just me hearing 4 against the 3? No, it really is 4-4. And I was like, okay, there we go. When you're able to deceive the listener like that and make them second guess what they're hearing, you know you're doing a good job as a songwriter when you're talking about playing with feel and playing with time. So kudos to them. They did a great job writing the song. Do I have any gripes about the song? I mean, it was long. It was a long song, but here's the thing. Despite the fact that it was long, I never found myself looking at the clock going, how much longer do we have to go? So they kept me engaged, they kept me vested, they kept me interested. Most importantly, they kept me entertained. So there's that. You know, was the song long? Yes, the song was long, but it didn't. It felt like 10 minutes. You know, it felt like a 10-minute song. It didn't feel like a 15-minute long song where I'm sitting there. You know, it's 10 minutes, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a 10-minute song, but it drags. And it's just like, oh, God. And you find yourself looking at the clock going, oh, my God, we have another 5 minutes to go. No!
No! God, please, no! No! No!
You know what I mean? It's not like that. It wasn't like that at all. No, the song, it was a 10-minute song. It felt like a 10-minute song. But I was entertained. I was thoroughly enjoying what I heard and what I saw. So I can't really complain about that. So no, I'm going to give it the 8.2. I feel that is where the song belongs. I feel that is the score that the song deserves. And that is the score that we're going to stick with. Now, there are probably a lot of Opeth fans who are new to the channel, who have never seen the channel before, and they're probably wondering to themselves, is an 8.2 a good score? No, it's not a good score. It's actually a great score. If you don't believe me, take a look down below in the video description. You'll very clearly see my scoring system chart there. And you will see that anything between 8.0 to 8.9 is the grading scale for great. Just remember, 8 is great. Anything that gets an 8 is, in my opinion, a great song. So this is getting an 8.2. It's, by definition, is a great song. So take the win. There are not too many bands that have made their debut on this channel who have gotten an 8 right off the gate. So, you know, take the win. Trust me. 8.2, final score. I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully, I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you did enjoy the show, and you would like to see more videos like this, feel free to join the fan base by clicking on that button down there. Yeah, you know the button I'm talking about. Click on that button, join the fan base, and become one of us. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't feel like clicking on that button, that's okay. I still respect you. Also, if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. It'll do me a world of good, and it will do you absolutely no harm whatsoever. Finally, if you guys do join the fan base, you will find a bell down there that you can click on. By clicking on that bell, it'll keep you up to date on everything happening with this channel, including when new content gets dropped. So, if you want to stay in the know, click on the bell, and you'll stay in the know. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Until next time, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.